It just kind of sucks when like you're locked to a grid and like your actual design options are super limited. Although, to be totally fair, I had this conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend. I'm just sitting here and waiting for some awful political party or terrorist organization to use an aperture as their logo, because I'm sitting here with just an aperture tattoo. Yeah, that's fine. You thinks it's okay? Me also thinks it's okay. Especially now that I've, like, tweaked them all. This is going to be set 1 of bedrooms. Company of Boulders. That's a good stoneworkers guild. And I think we'll make this into the stoneworkers guild down here, this little open area. Needs sand-bearing item. I'll go collect more sand then, you lazy. Make 30 more bags. More creative than you've ever reached? Yeah, well. I'm gonna try my damnedest. I'm just hoping they don't hit the soil at the edge. But yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about making this pattern just like go all the way around eventually. But there it goes. All those nice little bedrooms. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. Can't construct glass blocks, needs sand-bearing item. Unless I do this. Should work. And sweet, so far we haven't collided with any of the problems. And let's get this corner smoothing. Worst case scenario, if it ends up looking bad, I'll just knock the whole fucking thing down and build it differently. This will just be a weird open space. I mean, I've been playing for 7 hours-ish. Incoming spam detected. And I look and it's literally... It's way too fucking funny. I just got a phone notification saying, incoming spam detected. It's my phone service provider. Sending me a text that my bill's ready. That's funny. Like, it's time to pay your bill. Uh-huh. I agree, that is spam. Thanks, son. You know, true story, Nudist Nun? I've never eaten spam in my entire life. Not once. Gotta be a scam. No, it's literally like my phone ISP. Oh yeah, well. Spam is good. I don't know. Like, I've seen it in grocery stores. And I don't know. I think I would rather buy tofu. It's not good. You tried it for fun. It's a hunk. A hunk? What's a hunk? I thought a hunk was a muscly person. And we have a mayor. Hinul is now our mayor. Well, Hinul, what are you going to start asking I make for you? You're like, tables. Well, that's good. Water and ham in a can. Gotta really cook it nearly burnt again. I've been told that Spam is supposedly enjoyed by people in sandwiches. But I can't say that I've ever actually had one. Or ever actually had it, so. Alright, so green, glass, coffer. No, that's coffin. Chest? No. Box. Ah! Fifth. Let's just say make 60. And green glass cabinet. Green glass cab. 60. Spam is the good stuff. Treat is the cheap stuff. I've never even heard of treat. What the fuck? Never seen this or heard of this before in my life. Traditional baked ham taste. So what you're saying is it's not traditional baked ham? It just tastes like traditional baked ham. That looks kind of gross based on that one picture. I'm good. Hard pass, thanks. Can you get your name slapped on a mason? I could give you a mason. I could give you the mayor. I could give you a bowyer. I could give you an engraver. I could give you a weaponsmith, a metalsmith, a furnace operator, or a peasant, or even a child if you so wanted. We got lots of variety. Great time to tune in. Spam. Hi, Navy. New fort today. We're digging into the side of a mountain. We're going to make obsidian and glass. So I'm going to make a thing out of obsidian and glass. Somewhere. Glass first. Obsidian second. When cut up and used in fried rice with pineapple, why not just use cheap hot dog? Weaponsmith would be nice. I can do. Oh, you've also killed 2 wild boars. I was like, you're a murderer. Oh, no. Ayer. She felt lonely after being away from family too long and felt wonder remembering communing with Ral. You worship Ral, who is the deity associated with wealth, takes the form of a male dwarf. You are 75 years old, born on the 24th of Slate in the year 160 Nice. She is broad-bodied, muscular, and fat, and she has a broad chin, and her tall head is extremely narrow, and her eyebrows are somewhat high, and her ears are somewhat short. Her hair is pale chestnut, and her short hair is neatly combed. Her skin is pink, and her eyes are gold. Her eyes have slightly thin irises. She likes granite, gold, onyx opal, and pinewood, picks and hoods, and cages and lizards for their beauty. I agree. And you like the words of the silky bride, and when possible, you prefer to consume rye beer. I love rye and beer. Rye beer is really good. And you hate bats for some reason. She personally sees family as one of the most important things in life, respects power, and doesn't particularly value loyalty and dreams of mastering a skill. She tends to hang on to grievances and is somewhat quarrelsome and is not bothered by this as she values friendship and she finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding and she can handle stress. She doesn't try to get things done perfectly and she isn't particularly ambitious. She does not easily hate or develop negative feelings and she is assertive and she exhales sharply when she's becoming exasperated and she stares intently when she's thinking. Needs alcohol to get through the working day. Spam has an unsettling texture. I also have an unsettling texture. The Company of Boulders has many members in Stonewater and wants a guild hall. And do. Well, it's not that they're problems. It's just they look gross. I don't know if that's necessarily a problem. The only complaint that I really have about them is that they look really gross. But, you know, I don't know. The cheap food that I was raised on wasn't like Spam and that sort of stuff. The cheap food that I was raised on was like lentils and pasta, so I guess it kind of depends on what you're used to. I was used to lentils and pasta. And like, you know, a lot of shepherd's pie and stuff like that. So growing up, we never really had Spam because that was like bad for you, air quotes. My mom would buy like sausage first or tofu before she would buy Spam. Like, I didn't have Spam until, like, I'd hit adulthood, really. Salt, garlic, and a little bit of vinegar makes almost any soup delicious. Construct green glass boxes. Now we're just going to see bags running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Spaghetti 3 times a week, lentil soup twice a week, shepherd's pie once a week, pizza once a month. We lived off of the food bank for like 4.5 years. Also, hey, Tapioca. So many lost shepherds. Yes, we've had so many shepherd's pies. Lots of noodles with sauce. Yep. Food bank. My parents are doing well now, but man, it took a long time. A lamp? So I just learned that sheeps are called lamps in the US. Thank you, Frog, for that excellent typo. I recently learned that a sheep of any age can be called a lamp. I mean, I could call anything a lamp if I really want to. See, that's a lamp. That is also a lamp. That might look like a rubber duck, but did you know that's a lamp? This sticker, in fact, says lamp. I love lamp. Anyway, good night, Rolf. Unrelated to anything, but this is a $1 Canadian coin that has a dead lady on it and a loon. I don't know if that's proof that I'm in Canada, but... What? Oh, it's early spring. Hold on a second. DJ ZMX the miner has been missing for a week. What the hell? How? Oh. I'm willing to bet walked through this door. Don't know for certain, but I'm willing to bet that our expedition leader walked too close to the lava and caught fire. Whoops. Neil, thanks for the 64 months. You're the second person to use that resub. 64 months! Goddamn long time. Some migrants have arrived. I hope that you're doing well, man. Chat, can I get a round of beers for Neil keeping that sub alive as long as they possibly could have? Hope that you've been well, man. Another peasant? Glassmaking. 64 months, yes. Hoping you don't need to sell them anytime soon. There's always the, why would you need to sell them? And it's like, all right, yes, state of the world. It's hard to really explain how fortunate I feel to just be in an industry that isn't mandatory to the survival of humanity, but is an industry that people like enough that I have a feeling will stay funded longer than a lot of industries. Like, I have weirdly good faith in the ability for this industry to stick around. Internet media will do better. Well, I think that there's also for me, at the very least, it's a lot easier to say, nah, fuck it. I don't need to support Netflix anymore, than it is to say, that streamer that I like watching, I don't need to support them anymore. That I watch every day. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot easier to just say, meh, fuck Netflix. Screw Disney. Who needs Disney? Who needs Disney anyway, you know? Nobody likes Disney. Screw Disney. To hell with Disney. But, like, and I guess unless you have kids. What's the goal of this fort? We're just building a fun volcano fort, and we're going to have some shenanigans with Obsidian, and I want to make a lava waterfall and that sort of stuff. But surviving isn't too difficult, generally. Brand new fort, though, Sanic. On the opposite end of the world from the previous forts, or rather, the previous fort was, like, very far south. The one that we were in last, which is down here. So we're up here, kind of in the middle. Little patch of savanna on a volcano right there. Stonewater. With a glorious image, a rendition of the mountainous lobster, an exceptionally designed image of a cave lobster, and two picks and a blazing sun. The cave lobster is burning. The cave lobster is raising the two picks. The cave lobster is striking a menacing pose, and the sun is burning the cave lobster. The image is the symbol of the scorching lobster, a local dwarven government. We are the Scorching Lobster, and building a fortress called Stonewater. The Fortress of Stonewater. Mm-hmm. gonna need a lot of doors. Might as well start working. All right. I also need tables. But this right here, it's going to be a guild hall. Stoneworkers Guild. The Company of Boulders. Citizens and long-term residents only. I'm going to do a line of engravings along here. I'm going to put a couple mason shops in there because I kind of like putting the shop for that particular guild into the guild hall. Dwarf Fortress, yes. Kind of starting to be tempted to just like, you know what? Let's just build a little worker tunnel here. This little worker tunnel is gonna go. Wink. Because they're just like constantly running back and forth along this way. Why even bother? I've literally got an infinite collect sand job on. Might as well at the very least, you know. You always find good fortune in the artifacts created by strange moves and dwarves if they go to the guild hall to work. That's kind of a neat concept. I don't believe I've ever encountered that myself, but... Is that a throne? That's a table. So once they get to the end of this, I'm sure they'll all just start pathing this way. This will be much faster. And Zuglar has been taken by a Feymud and is immediately claimed a Craftsdorf shop. Or a presser. As long as they're not an oppressor, we're good. Well, we'll let you gather the things that you need to gather. Yep, seems like they are definitely making use of my fast track sand collection spot. Let's get this all smoothed up. Remove this. And remove that. There they go. This is what you call a dwarf highway. They're even using fast and slow lanes. This is my pretty bloody convenient furniture setup. And box, 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 and box. And a dwarf has begun a mysterious construction. Pineapple opals, adisite, cave spider silk cloth, and armadillo sew mangled bone. What do you need to get a dwarf named after you? Well, first you need to sacrifice your firstborn, right? Then you need to sign over the rights to all of your lively possessions and dedicate them to me. And then after that, you need to open a chapter of the Blind IRL religion in your local town. And once you've committed 10 years of service, I will permit you to have a dwarf in my fort. Or you can just ask nicely. Your choice. Generally, the second one is more efficient and way quicker. But, you know, it's up to you. So, well, not quite valuable enough. So I need to increase the speed at which those get engraved. What kind of dwarf do you want? Jokes aside. Unless I do, or well, I'm not even. I got a guy for that. Okay, so you know we'll worry about that at future date. You know, there's some things that I try and say with a straight face, and then I realize how stupid it sounds while I'm saying it midway through the sentence, so I just stop worrying about it. Well, there's a dwarf making an artifact right now, so no guarantees about that, but you can have that one. Zuglar. Sanic RS. It was bliss. Within the last season, she was blissful remembering performing. She felt enjoyment after watching a performance and was interested after watching a performance, was interested after watching a performance and felt fondness when talking with acquaintance and felt enjoyment after watching a performance and she felt enjoyment after watching a performance and she was interested after watching a performance. I think she's interested in performing. 74 years old, born on the 6th of Granite in the year 170. She has a short, broad body, ill-defined muscles, and a very long hair. And her hair is braided. She has a very round chin, and her somewhat high eyebrows are extremely dense, and her narrow head is tall. Her somewhat narrow ears are slightly flattened, and her gold eyes are slightly protruding. Her hair is pale chestnut, and her skin is raw umber. She likes orpiment, lay pewter, blue garnet, bonobo, leather, and cotton fabric, the color amber, bucklers, and alpacas for their jutting teeth. And the words of the wayward merchants and the sound of the poetry of tone, and when possible prefers to consume lungfish and longland beer, and one-humped camel's milk and pearl mullet. And she absolutely hates fire snakes. You can agree with the alpaca raising? Well, I'm glad you have something in common. I like alpacas for their long necks, and because I might be able to throw off the Emperor's groove. She personally sees sacrifice. Oh, wait, wasn't he a llama in that shit? Anyway, she personally sees sacrifice as wasteful and foolish and dreams of raising a family. She accepts favors without developing a sense of obligation, preferring to act as the current situation demands. She is very trusting, and she tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects and could be considered rude. She has a tendency towards forming deep emotional bonds with others, and she is somewhat uncomfortable around those that appear unusual or live differently from herself. She has a noticeable lack of perseverance, and she finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding, though she wishes this were not the case, as she considers altruism foolish. She is quick to anger, and she tends to not be swayed by emotional appeals, and she generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity. She gnaws on her cheek when she's excited, and when she's thinking, she clicks her tongue repeatedly. When greeting others, she always smiles nervously and needs alcohol to get through the working day. Kind of an adorable dwarf. And, currently making an artifact. Best of luck. And your artifact is an armadillo bone buckler. That's actually a pretty badass buckler. I like to think it's using like the outside armadillo armor, you know, like kind of like a circular elbow thing. Anyway, Sanic RS, the Parasser, has created drums. Durmas, an armadillo bone buckler, and claims it is an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Avuz Sindvolts. I don't know why I put that specific intonation there, but here we are. It's worth 22,080. This is an armadillo bone buckler. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with cushion andesite cabochons and encircled with bands of armadillo bone and rectangular diorite cabochons. On the item is an image of a scepter in giant cave spider silk. On an item is an image of goblins and dwarves in pineapple opal. On the item is an image of, the goblins are refusing the dwarves. The artwork relates to the defeat of the Rock of Groups by the Rim of Savants in the takeover of labor distance by the Plague of Parody in the early spring of 156 during the conquest of labor distance. So, by the way, this faction, the Rim of Savants, is in very active warfare with the goblins. So, like, the dwarves are fighting for space, the goblins are fighting for space, back and forth quite actively. Goblin stuff gets destroyed almost as often as dwarven stuff. There's a ton of refugees around, too. It's dark times. Make 300 green blocks. And 100 green glass windows. Migrants are potentially refugees, and a lot of the migrants seem to be arriving, not remembering the last time they had alcohol. I'm assuming those ones are the refugees. And I think I should set all this to priority number 1, smoothing. Just get all this stuff smoothed. No longer says, after the first one wasn't a vampire, I've stopped. If we discover another vampire, then I will start suspecting them again, but I certainly did suspect the first one of being a vampire. It looked very sus, okay? That was indeed a fun embark arrival. I went so far as starting to dig him his own chunk of the fort, and then he went and drank some booze. And, oh. As we smooth up more bedrooms. But I'm glad it was an entertaining bit, if nothing else. Oh no, we're actually fishing. What a travesty. Okay, we should might as well make a fishery. I just saw a dwarf running by with mussels. I love how many dwarves are just booking it back and forth down here, collecting sand, collecting sand, collecting sand, collecting sand. This is going to be quite the glassmaker fortress in the future, I think. Let's give these two woodcrafters class making. We're definitely a fortress of crafters. Making glass. All right, there's another set of bedrooms that are done. It's weird to me that green glass coffers are called boxes. That's never going to stop being weird. Two beds, 3 bed, 4 bed. Some of these beds bigger than others. All of them nice, though. And I've got a goat kid running. I've got several critters running around that do not have places to eat. Reindeer, cow, goat kid, donkey. Or put him away. Blissful after sleeping in a very good bedroom. Blissful after sleeping in a great bedroom. Blissful after sleeping in a great bedroom. Blissful after sleeping in a bedroom like a personal palace. Well, glad you're enjoying your new rooms, dwarves. I think this is going to be a lovely bedroom setup once it's all set up. Thanks for making so many great bedrooms. They really liked them. Well, they do seem to like these bedrooms so far. It's the problem is I have what, 8 bedrooms and 65 dwarves, so we need more. Although we can do these ones. Here comes the next round of beds. Yeah, something that people often tell me when I'm building a fortress on new fortress days is that I build them really, really quickly. And to me, it's kind of surprising that you could build a fortress slower than I do, because I don't feel like I build them that quickly. To the point where, like, I don't really know what I'm doing differently than other people. But it's cool that people think that I build my fortresses really quickly. I wonder if they're still cutting them gems. No, they're not. Okay. You get a bed, and you get a bed, and everybody gets... Ideally, everybody gets a bed. I mean, like, green dwarves still need beds. So... They come from a past with no alcohol and so long they'd forgotten where they'd lanced at it. Yeah, well. Alright, there's another chunk down there that are now all done. There come 4 more. Some dwarves are weird and will just never claim bedrooms, so you have to manually assign them, but generally dwarves are pretty good about that sort of thing. Let's get another round of cloth going. Take a real quick glance. Yep, it is working. Perfect. What you eating? Mussels? Mussels have shells, right? If mussels have shells, I'm about to have a refuse stockpile full of them when I build a refuse stockpile. Summer has arrived on the calendar, turns out. Surprise. Comes after spring. Also, I never did memorialize my expedition leader. Probably do that. Although in regards to lore, there is a particular coolest dwarf in this fortress. Or a dwarf god in this fortress. We have a spider god of something or another, which I need to double check on. It's like rivers hunting the sky and a bunch of other things. Which is really cool in my opinion. I think gods that are not dwarves are a little rare and always kind of neat when they pop up. It was Diamond that worshipped one? No, it wasn't Diamond. And before it was DJ ZMX. Yeah, it was DJ ZMX. This god of the Rim of Savants that takes the form of a female cave spider and is associated with hunting, fishing, fish, and caverns, lakes, and oceans. It's a god I'm kind of fond of. I think that that's just a really cool god. Having a cave spider god is pretty badass. Continue on with these beds. But yeah. It's been a fun stream. It's funny because a lot of people today were saying that they love the New Fort days. I really like New Fort days as well. I just maybe don't talk about it as much as you guys. It's not as huge of a deal, but some kind of drider? Drider? What's a drider? I have no idea what a drider is, for whatever it's worth. All right, let's do this. Let's do this set. Then I just need to do coffers for the other two. So containers, glass box. Let's not put them right by the door. I think that looks a little silly. Green glass box, and green glass box. And that'll be the first set done. Just making a bunch of tables kind of growing across here. But yeah, anything to keep the chat moving at this point is greatly appreciated. Getting late in the day. Been live for 9 hours now. So, you know. But because it's a new Fortress day, what do you think, chat? Another hour or two of dwarfs? I think we can pull that off. It's because there's so much to do. So much to do. Also, that's interesting. The sacrificial nations. A human civilization is now aware of us. Wondering who traded with us. Although it's really up to you guys. Your eyes are pretty heavy. You working today? Still have another 6 hours of work, boy. Although to be totally fair, I've been pretty tired all week, so. The humans have arrived to trade. Meaning it is time to bring balls over for trading purposes. Grab those balls and bring them over, dwarves, because we need them. We really do need them. Those are indeed boulders everywhere. Yeah, I need to get those cleaned up eventually. It's a common trait of new forts. There's balls everywhere. Boulders everywhere. Conducting a meeting. Oh, duh, with the outpost liaison. They seem very hard to deal with. Only if they bother you. I mean, like, they're a resource, right? Like, we're working through them. Kashi says, on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my greetings to your people. There is much to speak about. There's much to share. Information has been added to the Civilization and World Info. What requests do you have of our merchants? Oh, I did ask for elephants last time, so this time I'm going to ask for everybody's favorite. And just pile orders? Yeah, pretty much. It's just like a matter of time until you power through them, and you just kind of eventually get through them. Kashi says, on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me bid farewell to you and your stout dwarf. See if they have dragons. I can tell you for a fact they don't, because I've already looked. Also, I don't think anybody trades dragons. Like, is it even possible for the AI civs to train dragons in this? Like, I would know just by looking at the numbers of dragons alive. Like, that would be really weird. I did ask them to bring me elephants, though, which they did. Bunch of them, even. All right, it's time to build an elephant enclosure. Please don't armor the elephants. I don't think you can. Look at those ease. It's a very easy fort. This is easily the best fort. All right, so now we need the elephants to be safe. Currently, they're just out in the open. So I can train them as hunting elephants. Or war elephants. Either or. Hunting elephant is kind of a funny concept to think about, I'm not gonna lie. But, Sanic, you were asking about, like, goals for this fortress. Well, you've seen one of them. I think that's where they were. Dang it. It was one too far down. How's it going? We just acquired a small herd of elephants from our generous human friends. Which I'm going to, of course, dig an underground tunnel into. Megafauna, yeah! Damn right. They seem kind of scared. They're all hiding in the corner. Just woke up and trying out the new feature. Does this help you not... Does this help you lurk better? No, but it did cost you $5, of which I get a portion of. I'm not entirely sure the purpose of that feature, and if anybody in chat does know the purpose of that feature, I'd love to know. It just kind of seems like a waste of money. At least for this channel, I don't know. It's... meh. Especially in a world where, like, third-party tools that allow text-to-speech literally do more than that feature. All right, so now that I've built this whole thing, or planned its construction, let's knock out these corners. Just so that it looks a little bit nicer. It's very super chat-ish. Don't worry, Twitch is currently working on reworking bits to be very super chat-ish. Those elephants are just fucking leaving. Look at these guys. Back in your cages. Stay in your pen. The NAND game? The what? What's a NAND game? Where you put together circuits from other circuits? That sounds like... Ow, brain. Actually, that sounds like a game my friend Scott would really like. Beer bee need coffee? Alrighty. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the elevated message does. Does it actually like highlight stuff at the top of the chat? Because if it does, I can't see it. To the point where like I'm opening up my own stream again to like see if I can see it, but I'm not sure what it does, I guess, is my bother with it. That parking game? What, the you suck at parking game? Looks a bit like the poll pop-up. It kind of... Could somebody screenshot it and like post it on Discord and at me with it? Because like I haven't seen it yet. It doesn't show up anywhere for me. Either I have some sort of extension that's automatically blocking it, which is possible because I block a lot of Twitch features. But like... Yeah, I don't know. Expect Twitch to get very super chatty in the next little bit. Just because, like, for lack of a better term, people new to the platform understand super chats better than they understand bits because bits are complicated and abstracted systems are bad. Which is fair, because they're not wrong. I just prefer bits. Because they're a better system, but... Huh. That's kind of funny. I'm looking at my revenue from today, right? And I can't show it. But I've made $2.98 off of Experiment. Because 2 hours ago, just some old guy elevated a chat message for $6.50. Canadian. That one's 5. So out of $6.50, I need to do some math. Out of $6.50 US, or Canadian, I get $2.98 US. I think that's 70% it? 70%? Man. That's, I don't know. Strange. Strange. 70-30? Probably. Which man, I don't like that. I don't like Twitch saying, oh, you give a person $5. And then Twitch saying, oh, we're giving you $5, but I'm actually not getting $5. That's the part about, like, super chats that I really dislike. Where people are just like, oh, I give you $5. It's like, no, actually, you're giving me, like, 70% of $5 plus a transaction fee plus, you know, like it's a, from the perspective of somebody who makes things on the internet, it is a worse system in every way. So I got a dwarf stuck in here now with the elephants. The perspective? Ouch. No, Twitch is simply serving the biggest demographic on the site, right? They want to make as much money for their top tier partners as possible to keep them because currently they've fucked up bad. So they're going to make changes and additions to the site that benefit the people at the top, not people like myself. And that is genuinely true, even with them cutting the revenue split. And the reason I say that is because people like King Gathalion got offered $20,000 to run 6 minutes or 9 minutes of ads an hour and stuff like that. Like, he posted a screenshot where he's like, guys, I'm turning on ads because, like, if you have several thousand concurrent viewers, that is how much they offer you. What is it they messed up? Oh, they're just taking away higher tier partners' pay split, which is pissing them all off, which is very amusing to me because they get to make another $100,000 off of only sub revenue before they actually get their money cut. And they're all screaming because they're just like, oh no, I only get to make another $100,000 off of this massive portion of money. Nope. No, they didn't allow you to stream on other platforms right before that. They allow you to stream on non-competing platforms. So you're not allowed to stream on YouTube or Facebook, but you're allowed to stream on TikTok and Instagram. So no, they're not allowing you to stream on other platforms or Reddit. I mean, for people who make $100,000 a month off of subscriptions, no. But very few people actually do that. Very, very few. A farmer guild was established. So, I don't know what you're talking about, Nordstrom. If you had a higher split for subs, you get to make another $100,000 of additional revenue off of only sub revenue. If you had the 70-30 cut for all sub tiers. And then they rewrite your contract so you get the 50-50 split on tier 1s, 60-40 split on tier 2s, and 70-30 on tier 3s like everybody else. Like, that's all I've ever had. So basically they get to make an additional $100,000 before their contracts get changed, which means all those guys that, you know, make $100,000 every month or so on subscriptions, which is a rather small number of people, get to make that, and then it's done. That's what they fucked up. But people at that end, if you're making that much money already, it really doesn't matter. It's such a small portion of people actually pissed off at Twitch for that one. Then there's people like me where I'm just like, really? Like, come on. I don't care. Do not care. It's not something I was ever close to, and it's not something I'll ever get, so. I think what you're saying, Nort, is you heard half of what I said, not the other half. But that's not too uncommon. Never say never? Well, I mean, I'll never get it now. Never even been close. I've never even gotten 50% of the requirements for what used to be. But now it's literally going away. So yes, I can legitimately say never. Oh, I know, but I also don't care because what's Twitch going to do, right, Nordstrom? Are they going to pay me more? Fuck no. So I don't care that they're taking money away from people at the top of the site. And the few people that I do know who have that split don't make $100K a year off of sub revenue. So it's going to take them several years to make that amount. And so most of them don't care either. Mr. Runner, you have a good night. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out today. Hope that you had an alright day at work. Kib's grown to become a peasant. But like, if you are naive enough to think that there would even be a passing thought from Twitch to assist smaller creators, then you're nuts. I've been of the opinion for the last 6 or so years that Twitch doesn't give a shit about anybody under the top 0.1%. And even them, I sometimes wonder if they care about them. And why does it matter? Right? Like this month is a very strange occurrence where I actually made a lot of money on Twitch. More than half my money usually comes from outside of Twitch via tips, via Patreon, via YouTube revenue, via other revenue. Like usually it's about 50-50 between other revenue platforms and Twitch, right? This month is definitely an outlier, but that doesn't normally happen. So for me, I'm of the opinion, and I just kind of accept that Twitch is never going to do anything to actually help me. And that's fine. I don't need them to help me. If you need Twitch to help you make money, you shouldn't be in this industry, because you should be trying to make money on as many different platforms as possible. Someone did a big bomb. We've had several of those. If you look up in your Twitch notifications, it'll say who gifted you one. So I don't know why people are getting mad that Twitch is pocketing the money and not redistributing it, because why the fuck would they redistribute it? Why would you even have the assumption that they would consider that? It's nuts. Of course they won't do that. This is a profits-based company that we're talking about, owned by a profits-based corporation. Of course they're not going to do shit for us. Who cares? Losing sleeping over it and getting mad at it and screaming at the platform loses you money. Just kind of accepting it, moving on, and if you need to go make money on other platforms, go do that. Is the smart thing to do. That's been my business model for the last 9 years. I'm still here. Farmers Hall's open. So we get to make a Farmers Guild Hall now. Fill in this little square with a Farmers Guild Hall. I used to have points in my life where Twitch would make changes that I didn't like, and I would get mad at them. I don't care. I don't have the energy to stress over what Twitch does. And Twitch has been at the point that YouTube's been at for a while, which is they make a change, everybody fucking hates them. 3 weeks later, they forgot they made the change in the first place, and nobody cares anymore. Why bother going through that cycle of constantly getting pissed at your own platform? Just, you're a private contractor, you don't have rights. Do the best you fucking can with the platform that you're given and live your life. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Exactly, Frog. You know, like this channel has its own small community, right? And I exist to support and work with this community. And if Twitch actually goes belly up and fucks everybody over, yeah, I'll move to a different platform. But I don't really, if it's not directly damaging me or hurting my income, I honestly don't give a shit what Twitch does. And Soul Shinery, the leather worker, has been possessed. I'm assuming you're going to run to the leatherworks shop. Comes 2, 3 pieces of leather. 4 pieces of leather. Like, if Twitch turned around tomorrow and said, by the way, it's now in our terms of service, you're no longer allowed to use Patreon. Which, by the way, was actually something they threatened to do ages ago. Or not threatened to do, but suggested they might do. It leaked out, and they very quickly walked it back. If they did that, I'd be pissed. Rough pineapple opals, llama wool cloth, 2 pieces of yak leather, and 2 pieces of armadillo leather. Also, there's a bunch of impalas on the map. Cool. And I know it's not the most, what's the word? popular take to have. But I've been doing this longer than most of the biggest streamers on this site. With some exceptions. But I've been streaming full-time as my majority source of my income since 2016. And I've been streaming since... my first few streams were in 2012. Started fucking around with it in 2016 and started taking it seriously in 2014. Oh, sorry. I started fucking around with it in 2013 and started taking it seriously in 2014. Words. 12, 13, 14. That's like, I've been doing this longer than like, a lot of these kids have been adults. I've never been huge and I never will be. And I'm just flabbergasted and perplexed whenever everybody just freaks out because, oh no, Twitch has betrayed us. It's like, of course. This is what they do. Come on. You should expect it at this point. I'm going to keep creating content. Ideally on Twitch, because I have a nice large audience built up here over the years. But none of the changes that they've made in the past month really concern me. Totally. Yeah. I mean, like, gifting subs is great and helps in ways, right? Bits helps in some ways and is more fun than just tipping traditionally. And it unlocks you emotes. But if you actually want to support the stream, coffee exists, right? If you actually want to support the stream, Patreon exists. And that's why those features exist. Also, I'm super duper planning on dual streaming the next Bay 12 interview. So the next time I have Zach and Tarn on, I'm very much considering multi-streaming to Reddit because that's really easy to do. There's a lot of armadillos here. Soul Shinery, the leather worker, has created a jagged armadillo leather helm and claims it as a family heirloom. Okay, what's the name of that? Helped Carnage, the Painful Amazements. This is a jagged armadillo leather helm. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of yak leather, and this object is adorned with hanging rings of llama wool, and on the item is an image of Rimtar Borensak, the dwarf and dwarves in armadillo leather. Rimtar Borensak is surrounded by the dwarves. The arc relates to the ascension of the dwarf Rimtar Borensak to the position of Baron of the Rim of Savants in the mid-autumn of 155. On the item is an image of Olan Sakdies, the dwarf in armadillo leather. Olan Sakdies is making a plaintive gesture. The artwork relates to the mortal wounding of the dwarf Olan Sakdies, the stoneworker, in the late winter of 143. On the item is an image of Erush Labor Bent, the dwarf and dwarves in Pineapple Opal Erush Labor Bent is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Erush Labor Bent to the position of Baron of the Rim of Savants in the midsummer of 153. Yeah, I get 60% from tier 2s and 70% from tier 3s. Twitch has officially stated that now, so it's technically me still breaking my contract saying that out loud, but honestly, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I do get higher percentages of higher tier subs. It's not a massive difference, but it's a difference. Which also, by the way, if you subscribe at tier 3 as part of September, because we're on the last days of it, if you subscribe to a streamer for 6 months at tier 3, Twitch gets 0% of the cut. It's the only way to make sure Twitch gets no cut, by the way. Let's do that, 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 that. But it's also expensive as heck to subscribe for a channel for 6 months at tier 3. And that's the last of the bedrooms. Then we can queue up some more. We'll queue up down here. Not really. It's honestly the only thing that Twitch has done in the last 2 years that's genuinely annoyed me was when they made hosting completely fucking irrelevant. And now they're killing the feature off entirely, which is like fine. Like you might as well. Cuz it's a dead feature. But genuinely like really not much Twitch has done in the past year that's actually like bothered me that much. There we go. Come on. Line up nicely. Perfect. Very rare that I use macros in Dwarf Fort. Yes. I was like, please don't collide with the volcano, and it didn't. Let's place this and this into a farmer's guild. I think I flew right past it. On Worker Hall. There it is. Farmer Hall. Fragrant Flax. That's a good name. Sorry, I've just been rambling out loud for the. Oh, you mean the? Yeah, it's a good time investment to learn how to use macros. Sure, but like I don't know. I don't think they're necessary. They're certainly helpful when making patterns and things. This is going to be the mayor's office and dining room and bedroom. But yeah, sometimes I feel like I need to apologize for having kind of harsh opinions on Twitch, but I guess at the end of the day, I've just been on this site so much longer than so many people, it's just kind of easy for me to just be like, yeah, I don't expect anything more or less. It's just what I expect from Twitch. I kind of expect to be disappointed. There was certainly a time in my life where I was very much like, we be bleed purple and all that crap. I had drank the Kool-Aid for quite some time. But honestly, at this point, I'm just here to do my job, and my job is to entertain my community. And that's not changing. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm here to entertain my community, and as long as people still watch me on this platform, I'll be on this platform. I don't really care how Twitch redistributes wealth. Or if they do, or if they don't, because they won't. That's not what capitalism does. Don't want to do that? Make corporations illegal. Make monopolies illegal. It's not like we can make a union, which is what I've had people say that adorable line to me again recently, where they're like, "What about streamers form a union?" It's like, that's the cutest thing I've read in a while. Like, "Oh, you sweet summer child," kind of thing. This is what happens when you guys don't give me topics to talk about. I just kind of ramble. Turns out this is what's on my brain right now. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how they're illegal and regulated, and they're not, and they're not. In fact, they happen all the time and are extremely common. Kind of weird, to be honest. Well, so as long as there's dwarves running back and forth along this, we know this is working. So we've got plenty of breeding pairs of elephants. So I just need them to start making baby elephants. Can't wait. I'll tell you what I do love about this site, though. Elephantlings, yeah. I absolutely love the options in life that this website has given me. You know, when I think about a lot of really big business and a lot of big websites, it's very easy for me to just go, god damn it, you know, Amazon fucking ruining the planet. It's like, fuck. Facebook, the worst thing in the world. Why, Mark Zuckerberg, why do you even just stop zucking, Zucker, you weird gremlin person? You know, it's not that it's like whenever I look at those portions of the internet, I just kind of, even Google, like I just get mad generally. Those a lot of these websites, like some of them benefit me, some of them do provide positive reinforcement into the world, but so many social media sites just actively damage my willingness to exist on this planet. Whereas Twitch is one of the few where, yes, Twitch does shitty things. Twitch does things that I point at and I go, that's anti-consumer, that sucks, nobody likes that, stop that. You know, and that happens relatively frequently. You know, like, yes, Twitch should be redistributing the money from the top end of Twitch and helping us smaller guys make money in ways that isn't just like, you know, forcing us to jam ads down your throat all the time. But at the same time, I wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for Twitch. I wouldn't have met half of the people I've met, any of the people I've met, actually, because I think people that I've met outside of Twitch in the last decade are in the single digits. It's I meet a very small number of people. I'd probably still be working some night shift dead-end job somewhere. I wouldn't have had a window into this industry. Like, hey, now it's not okay, hold on. Impugning the capacity of Gremlin Administrator Zuckerberg doesn't compare to gremlins. Okay, so what you're saying is I shouldn't insult the good word of our mayor, Lord and Savior, Sir Gremlin Esquire, by comparing him to Zuck. Okay, so what should I call him then? Because I like lizards, so... But yeah, no, I just... The positives do outweigh the negatives for me with Twitch. I'm also just kind of not the sort of person to get mad at every website on the internet and blame them for all my problems. I got plenty of problems. It's not the site's fault. It's just my own fault. I'm an idiot. A wax simulacrum of a human? He's a human-adjacent being. How's that? Le Monde, hello. Hope you're having a good afternoon. I know it's pronounced simulacrum. And I know that because of a video game, fun fact. Getting ready to go to your dead-end night shift job. Sorry, that wasn't a personal attack. I just worked a dead-end night shift job for 8.5 years, so I feel like I have the right to be salty about the fact that I wasted years of my life at a crappy night shift job. Blind knew how to pronounce a word you didn't? Really? You didn't know how to pronounce simulacrum? The only reason I know how to pronounce simulacrum is because there was a game called Simulacra. And when I was trying to figure out how to pronounce it, the promo emails that were being sent around were saying it's pronounced like simulacrum. So I went and looked it up on Google, and that's what Google said. You're at a crappy night shift job with severely reduced wages? Wait, hold on a second. How are they reducing your wages? That doesn't sound legal. The dwarves have arrived to trade. You know what's fun is it's almost impossible for me to pronounce. I swear that there's something wrong with my brain. I know there's many things wrong with my brain. But when people write things down phonetically, it makes no sense to me. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Like, you can write that down 1,000 times. But it makes no sense to me. Well, Net Jammer. Dwarf Fortress is aiming for release in fall, and as of last time's devs spoke publicly about it, they are still aiming for fall, which was a blog post a week ago, and we're in fall. So sometime in the next 3 months, ideally. If not, it'll slip into winter, which would probably be January or February. Because I know for a fact they don't want to release in December. So if it's not out by December, assume January or February. But it'll be out sometime in the next 4 to 5 months, I would say. Well, no, it will be. I know that for a fact. I've never played this game, not gonna lie, it literally looks like you're hacking in some 90s hacker film. Well, that's because 90s hacker films look nothing like hacking. They just look like video games. Lycott says, I'm Relay Zone from the Mountain Homes. Let's discuss your situation. There's much to share. Besides, this isn't what this game looks like by default. I'll show you what it looks like by default in a second. So what you're saying is it looks like a video game. Got it. Here, I'll show you vanilla. Just give me a moment. That's what the game's supposed to look like. See, look at these adorable elephants. They're tame. And I'm hitting the wrong button. There it is. Okay, and there's my little tunnel. All the way up to the surface. BRB, hacking your bank account. But no, I'm using a very clear, nice looking tile set. I mean, also, I thought that 90s hacker films looked like this. And POV for accuracy. By the way, if you hit this long enough, it turns into an Amazon affiliate link. Hackertyper.com. It's a great website. I'm in. But anyway, no, this is Dwarf Fortress. It very much doesn't look anything like hacking. You know, fun fact, there was one time this person was talking about not being able to learn Dwarf Fortress because they're, air quotes, too dumb. They tried to kick W in my chat, and they got caught by the I'm stupid, and they got so offended for me calling them stupid, they unfollowed and blocked me. Which I still think is kind of funny. It's like, imagine getting wrecked so hard by your own emote habits that you block somebody. When they say 90s hacker films, people usually mean either Hackers, Swordfish, or Jurassic Park.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Anyway. You're on mobile, so you didn't even realize you got wrecked. Best kind. No, Swordfish was like 2005. When did Swordfish come out? I just remember that movie being green. That's all I remember the beautiful set of tits in that movie and green. That's it. Swordfish. When did that movie come out? 2001. That almost counts as 90s. Yeah, literally the only scene in that movie I remember is tits. Because that was, I probably saw that in like 2004, 05 when I was like a little kid. I was probably like 9 or 10 when I saw that movie. It's like, wow, boobs! Okay, moving on with my life. Because, you know, that's about the level of intelligence you have at that age. Show Mr. Robot? No, because that's a terribly difficult show to watch legally without subscribing to annoying, esoteric, specific viewing platforms for TV, which I don't care to subscribe to. But I've heard that show's good. I've seen iRobot, but it's awful. That movie was bad. I've heard that from a couple people that they couldn't follow Mr. Robot. But pro tip about this game. If you do want to try playing it makes understanding it visually a lot easier. Like, this game's nowhere near as bad as it looks. If you've played any colony builder from RimWorld to the frickin' Sims, you can play this game. Any game where you have to control people and make bedrooms, if you've played it, you can play this. This game is very easy. And it's just the thing that actually makes it difficult is the fact that it's the true, like, hardcore sequel to Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. You just need to memorize a lot of keyboard buttons. So once you get to the point where you know all the keyboard buttons, it's really not that bad. I want to practice a craft because you felt self-pity. Well, I've got a craft for you. It's called glass. Go make glass. Also, hey, Major AFK, what's up? Started watching it, but you couldn't stick with the pacing. It felt slow. I'm assuming you're talking about Mr. Robot. They skip past the discovery, and it takes several months, and it's visually unappealing. I don't know. My favorite hacking in a movie is probably just forever going to be Jurassic Park because of how fucking dumb it is. It is so stupid, but I love it. where you can't even trust the main character and narrator because they're crazy. The only thing I really know about iRobot, or not iRobot, Mr. Robot, is that one of the actors in Mr. Robot is in a music video for a band I like. Just death staring you for like 2 minutes. What's up, Squirrely? How's things? Long time no see in my chat room. Building a little volcano fort. Not bad for one day's progress. We're finally starting to get bedrooms built. We also have a little elephant enclosure down here. So hopefully we'll have baby elephants at some point. The two people typing at the keyboard simultaneously seen as legendary. Bedrooms, are you socialist? Damn right, sir. Actually, I'll have you know all dwarves are anarcho-communist. This game's like a Civ builder? All right. How do I do the what is Dwarf Fortress simple version? Dwarf Fortress is a world generator that has 3 possible ways that you can interact with it. There's Fortress mode, Adventure mode, and Legends mode. It is kind of like a unholy mashup of... Okay, it's this. It's the original inspiration for Minecraft. It's the original inspiration for... RimWorld, and it's also inspired more games than I can really count. The thing that Dwarf Fortress is a world generator that generates you a world with hundreds of years worth of history, and then you can build a fortress of dwarves in that world. You can take control. Arena mode's like a bug testing mode, so I don't really count that. You can either take control of a fortress full of dwarves, you can be a single adventurer and wander around the world in an open world RPG, granted it looks like this, or you can read about the history of your world. So this is the world that I'm playing in right now. This is my generated map. It's got this big old mountain range in the middle, it's got lakes, it's got rivers, valleys, deserts, forests, and it doesn't generate like just a map for you, right? It generates you the map, then it rains water on it and fills in lakes and rivers and waterfalls, and my hair's so big. Yeah, I've got a lot of hair. Like, a lot of it. Anyway. It generates lakes and rivers and deserts and valleys and all that, but then it throws in people. So you get elves, goblins, or elves, goblins, humans, dwarves, kobolds, various animal people. If there's an animal, there's probably a person variety version of it. Underground critters like troglodytes and fish people, mermaids, animals, and then it forms them into civilizations and cultures, and then it pits them against each other in some cases. It generates books, forms of poetry, language for certain types of creatures, randomly generated monsters from the times before time, titans, forgotten beasts, demons, angels, etc. Lots of stuff. Then it also generates forms of poetry, and every single individual character in the world is tracked. So this fortress that I'm building right now is right here, right? This down here is a fortress that I just finished playing in as of yesterday, right here. So this is Threat Dweller. I played in this fort for, I don't know, a couple weeks. And Threat Dweller had like 60 dwarves in it when I left. But since I left, the world gen turned for a couple of months, and a bunch of other dwarves moved in. Dwarf Fortress has mermaids, yeah. They're hard to find, but they do exist. So Dwarf Fortress is a massive clockwork world that you can interact with, right? So Dwarf Fortress has no game over, NetJammer. It literally has no game over. If you die in a fortress, you can make a new fort, and then you can build another fort elsewhere. You could be an adventurer and go to the ruins of your old fort and steal artifacts and take them to a new fort. You could build a new fort somewhere else and then send parties of explorers to get the items from your old fort and bring them to a new fort. You could start a new fort in the same faction, and if any of the dwarves survived the calamity that caused your fort to collapse, maybe they'd show up and join your new fortress. So Fortress mode is RimWorld vibes with actual depth, minus the part where RimWorld tries to kill you all the time. RimWorld is a tower defense management game with some light colony management. Dwarf Fortress is a world simulation that you can interact with, right? So Dwarf Fortress is a very easy game, but it's a very deep game. And it can be a hard game if you want it to be a hard game. The kind of beauty of the simulation of Dwarf Fortress is just how interlocked it is and how you can manipulate it into a narrative that you want to experience. That's the fun of Dwarf Fortress, is once you get good enough at it to figure out how to manipulate the systems in it to tell the story you want to tell. So if Fortress mode is RimWorld vibes, Adventure mode is quite literally Kenshi. So you have Dwarf Fortress and Adventure mode in the same game, which is RimWorld and Kenshi, and they interact with each other not seamlessly, because you do need to retire the fort and then reclaim it later if you want to go back to it, and it's free. Like, go play it. Fuck, stop talking to me. And the wiki's great. But it's like, if you can play RimWorld, if you can play Kenshi, if you can play Crusader Kings, if you can play any kind of obtuse game, like even Escape from Tarkov, or like fucking Dota, you can play Dwarf Fortress. It's not impossible. The only real difficult barrier to entry, I would say, is if English isn't your native language, because there's like no translations of this game. It's almost like I called out Dota for a reason, really. But yeah, no, it's like, it's because I know people in chat play Dota. So that's kind of the short version of what Dwarf Fortress is. And if you don't want to like deal with the keyboard only driven UI and like the other messes with it, in the next 6 months when premium releases, Classic will also get an update, and Dwarf Fortress Classic's new UI will look like this and be mouse driven. When premium comes out, you know, it's gonna have pretty pixels, which people seem obsessed with. I've read that like 4 times, Gristith, and I don't know what you're talking about. Also, yeah, if Dwarf is your native language, Dwarf Fortress is much easier to learn. Although you'll realize pretty quickly that you've played too much Dwarf Fortress when you start reading like words and go, ah, yes, that's Elvish, because there's no way that could be Dwarfish. Doesn't look like a dwarfy word. Looks like an elfy word. Yeah, honestly, like, and that is fair. Like, I'm not gonna fault anybody who wants to wait, but it's like, it's a good way to improve your English. It's improved my English, and I speak English. Like, I didn't know what indefatigable meant. Like, I'm still not sure what that word means. Yeah, it's definitely an elf. That's elf. And if it's a gibberish that ends with an R, it's probably kobold. But everyone grew up on these games with dream of playing. I mean, I grew up on these games too, right? Like on games that didn't have graphics, that could run on a potato, because I had crappy computers growing up. But yeah, the one problem that I really have with Dwarf Fortress is it makes every game that tries to be like Dwarf Fortress feel underwhelming and boring. Like, genuinely, it's difficult for me to play games like RimWorld. It's difficult for me to play games like Space Haven or Starmancer or any of those or even things like Prison Architect, because it's just like, oh, well, cool. Oh, it's super surface level and boring. There's no actual depth here. Neat. What are you telling me? Your HP system is an HP system and doesn't keep track of the ounces of worth of blood and the cubic centimeters of liquid volume for a creature, and based on that amount of volume, when they lose too much blood, they die. What do you mean that your weapons aren't based on sharpness and weight and just arbitrary stats? What? Really? Tapioca? Huh. You'll go out on a limb and say it's well worth anyone's time to try the game even now. I would actually say that right now is probably a better time to try it than once premium is out. And the only reason I'll say that is right now you will get literally the entirety of the core community helping you if you just post on the Kit Fox Discord. Whereas in a couple months it might be a lot busier. Actually, it will be a lot busier, because this game's going to sell a lot of copies. Like, right now you have, like, basically the game's volunteer community manager, Clinodev, in chat. You got a live stream of somebody just talking about how the game plays, and you have, like, multiple discords of people willing to just help because they're just excited to see people playing the game. And in a couple months, who knows? A lot of them might just be pissed off at newbies asking questions. And the game's still going to be dense, even post-release. It's just the control scheme will be more accessible. But also another thing is when premium releases, it's not going to include adventure mode, at least not initially, because adventure mode is going to take, well, they still need to redo the UI for it, so that's going to take 6 months to a year, and that's a conservative estimate. So there will be a large chunk of time where Dwarf Fortress is just Fortress mode, which is a fucking large amount of game, but adventure mode is real cool. That's my one hang up too. I also love adventure mode, but what I want adventure mode but way more accessible. That's where I want the UI improvements, because I find adventure mode to be tedious. I don't find Fortress mode to be tedious. You only have a phone and a tablet? Really? Oh no, that sucks. I'm sorry. Am I going to do a premium Fortress when it comes out? When Dwarf Fortress comes out, I will be switching probably entirely to Dwarf Fortress Premium for 2 reasons. Number 1, there is an option within the game to set it to ASCII. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is because I'd be stupid not to. This is my full-time job, streaming this game, right? Like, this game and games like it. So I'd be saying no to a massive possible audience increase. So I would be stupid not to play premium. Although that being said, I do have a Fortress, which won't be swapping over to premium, which is Long Death. Long Death will be staying in its current version and never upgrading. And that's okay. Let's get my mayor happied. Also, for whatever it's worth, I would argue games like Escape from Tarkov or Dota are harder to learn than Dwarf Fortress, because you have to tolerate other human beings. Dwarf Fortress is like playing D&D by yourself. It's like the most antisocial, happy, quiet, alone thing you could ever do. That maybe makes it sound bad, but... My dwarves elected a mayor, so might as well set him up. Quivers? You gotta see. As if you think I enjoy socializing. No, I do. I don't hate other people as much as I pretend to. Is adventure mode similar to NetHack? Since you know what NetHack is, I'll take that and state it's more like less acid Caves of Cud. I mean, realistically, adventure mode is like Kenshi. Like, quite literally. You can do most of the things you can do in Kenshi. Minus some things. Like, you can go on quests, you can topple empires, you can behead kings, you can just wander around in town and dance on people's tables and take your clothes off and tell poetry and piss everybody off in the town. You can steal people's stuff. You can be a murder hobo. You can slay great beasts. You can build a fortress. But mechanically, it's nothing like that. I also want Caves of Cud. Caves of Cud is phenomenal. You know, honestly, and I've said this before, and people think I'm nuts. I genuinely had a much harder time learning to play Caves of Cud than Dwarf Fort. Caves of Cud is a much harder game to me than Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress is fine. Like, it's not that bad. But Caves of Cud, Jesus Christ. That took a while. Like, I picked up the control scheme faster, but the, actually learning to play Cud, jeez. I would have never played Dwarf Fortress in the first place if it was that. Gristeth. Like, never. There'd be no point. Every now and again, somebody follows me with a really funny username, and I just want to shout them out. Not gonna bother, but that is a funny username. You know who you are. My most successful adventure in Cud ran into an Esper in the middle of the desert and died promptly. Did they teleport into existence? And were you also an Esper? Did you have psychic glimmer? These are the questions I have to know. Sounds like desperation. Ha! You had a pure human? Oh, you were a Trukin. Interesting. Okay. Did you have really high willpower? Because if you have really high willpower, they can detect you. I think it's willpower. I'm trying to remember the name of the bottom stat. It's been a while since I played Cud. How many dwarves still need beds? The green ones all need beds. Quite a few. Ego, that one. Yeah. Did you have high ego, which is like D&D willpower? Because if you had high ego, they can detect you. And they can just teleport onto your location. You can get that power eventually, too. Can't wrap your head around the map. Stays the same, but things change on the map? Because then it wouldn't be the same maps. Certain locations are hand-drawn. The rest are all procedurally generated. It's literally that simple. It's like walking into somebody else's Minecraft world. The world is randomly generated, but certain structures were player constructed. I'm super good at drawing circles. Thank you. Macros are fucking heaven. Sometimes. Very rarely use them, but sometimes I do. Look, no hands. It was chicken. Oh, I mean, I certainly hope you didn't get rare chicken. That would be a reason for you to be on Gordon Ramsay's chicken nightmares? Kitchen nightmares. Chicken nightmares, it's a very different subject. And then I go in and I customize them so they look not all identical. Because I'm not a fan of samey bedrooms. You know, there was one time when someone in chat was genuinely shocked when I picked up and flipped over the record on this camera. Because they were just like, wait, that's a real record! I'm like, hold on a second, what? Do you think I had just a spinning video of a record spinning in the bottom corner of the screen? And they were like, yes! Wow. What kind of low quality production do you take me for? Jeez. So here's the thing. Late game Dwarf Fortress is just like Warframe. You make shit look cool. Is there a mechanical reason for any of this? Absolutely not. I could make my bedrooms a 1x1 square grid in a square blocky thing. Make it look all ugly and samey. Could do that. Although dwarves do like bigger bedrooms. So that's, I guess, sort of a mechanical thing. Also, I don't know what time you think I pre-record this shit with. Like pre-recording, 10.5 hour long stream? Oof. Wow. Uh-oh. Let's work on 1,000 green glass blocks, shall we? Exactly. Can you have a dwarf? You want to anticipate that you've guessed that I asked for this. Can you have a dwarf? The fact that you've suggested that the entirety of my streams is fake, and then you have the balls to ask for a dwarf, I feel like I should just say no. What kind of dwarf do you want? Got a few options. I don't even have a functioning military yet, so I hope I don't get attacked. That'd be bad. Military or clother? Well, there's only one military dwarf. And my one clother's taken. I could give you a glass worker. Does combat work like RimWorld? Nothing works like RimWorld. Because RimWorld is nothing like Dwarf Fortress. You see a boyer? You want that boyer? Give me that boyer. Boing. Lead. This is a bad fort to show you combat because, like, I started this fort earlier today. If you tuned in yesterday, you would have seen a lot. Most people you see either do 1x2 or 2x3 bedrooms, depending on what furniture they put in. It's like Terraria, where people try to figure out how small they can technically make rooms and still have them qualify as rooms. And then there's me, where I just make big ones. Will that boyer ever make a bow? No, but crossbows. Crossbows don't make. I was annoyed after drinking water. Shit, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Making them drink water. I'm a fucking criminal. I'm so sorry. Also, make this a gather and pick fruit. Not from trees. Just pick them from the ground. Anyway, where'd that boyer go? Sorry, I made you drink water. Was annoyed after drinking water without a well, but felt lonely after being away from family for too long. Was bored after communing was bored after being unable to practice a craft, and was felt wonder after communing with Ral. You worship Ral, who is a deity of the Rim of Savants, most often takes the form of a male dwarf, and is associated with wealth. In the mid-autumn of year 90, Ral cursed the dwarf vampire Abba and healed knife to prowl the night in search of blood, or something. But we should all be so lucky to truly master a skill, says Tapioca. He is 85 years old, born on the 20th of Fellsight in the year 159. He has a broad body, made broader still by no shortage of surrounding lard. Are those like marketing gurus? Yes, naturally. I'm disappointed that boyers are not responsible for making metal ones. Seems like it cheapens them, but here I am complaining about the way things are. I mean, you know. He has a broad body, made broader still by no surrounding packs of lard. He has a very broad, round chin, and his hair is straight. He has a very long sideburns that are neatly combed and medium-length mustache that is neatly combed. His somewhat narrow head is tall, and his medium-length and his long beard is neatly combed. His medium-length hair is neatly combed. There we go. He has somewhat high eyebrows that are extremely short, and his peach skin is wrinkled. His somewhat narrow ears are splayed out, and and his nose is somewhat narrow. His hair is pale chestnut with flecks of gray, and his eyes are gold. Oh, also, Dwarf Fortress is, to those of you who are new to this game, Dwarf Fortress is a tile-based game, which is a positive and a negative. The negative is that it's a tile-based game. The positive is that you can fit 999 dragons into one tile as long as 998 of them are lying down. Anyway, he likes native aluminum, lead, rose quartz, clear glass, cave spider silk, the color rust, bolts, and yaks for their shaggy hair, and crowmen for their intelligence. That would make sense. Crowmen would be smart. Prefers to consume basking shark, good luck with that one, and dwarven wine and oat flour. Absolutely hates jumping spiders. He personally finds friendship burdensome and doesn't see cooperation as valuable and dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. He lives at a slow-going and leisurely pace and cracks easily under pressure. He is swayed by emotional appeals and is very humble. He generally is quite confident in his abilities when undertaking specific ventures and could be considered rude. Prefers that everyone present themselves modestly, and he tends to be passive in discussions. He is quick to form negative views about things and doesn't try to get things done perfectly. He is brave in the face of imminent danger, that seems like an oxymoron, and is often cheerful, and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and likes working outdoors and only grumbles mildly at crappy weather. How big is a tile? I think aren't they like 2 meters by 2 meters? I'm pretty sure it's like 2 meters by 2 meters. Also, everything fits into one tile, even if their mass is way bigger than a tile. He seems nice, just like most dwarves, generally. Except for the ones that can't stand those who live unusual or appear differently from themselves. Racist fucks. Or a blue whale. Grunge. Yeah, so a square is a tile. But you can have like a giant that's like got the mass of a small truck or a large truck, actually, like a semi-truck essentially. But they still fit into one tile. So some imagination is required to properly enjoy Dwarf Fortress. 2x2x3? Okay. So I'm going to shout this person out. I almost never shout out names, but this name is just too funny to not. Thanks for the follow, Flaccid Cabbage. I've been staring at this for the last 20 minutes. It's like it's impossible for me to not say something. I like funny usernames. Anyway, I would like to remind everybody that today we got one of the most intellectually advanced comments I think I've ever seen on a YouTube video about Dwarf Fortress. So I would just like to inform everybody that this person wants to fuck this game. I don't. Too much spaghetti code. I wouldn't have even banned that one, but go nuts. It's pretty normal sentiment. I want to fuck this game. It's DF we're talking about. It's true. Yeah. It's just, what's funny is like the comments before and after that one on that same video are like, when's the release date? When's it out? I want to fuck this game. Basically, Kristen. Oof. I don't know. It's probably going. I mean, just smack it. It's fine. I don't care. I wouldn't expect something like that to ever say anything again. As long as they're not linking shit, I really don't care. But whatever. You're shouting out Flaccid Cabbage? Okay. Oh, so thanks, D&D, for paying forward Navy's sub to Flaccid Cabbage. So worth it? I mean, you know, I trust you with these powers, so I guess you can use them. You're a bit bored tonight? I noticed. Ban somebody who probably deserved it. Shouts out somebody else. Let's go. You just want a big box of Dwarf Fortress? To be fair, if they made big box copies like a limited run of Dwarf Fortress premium versions, I would buy one. I would actually, You know, like old school PC big box games, what shape would the Dwarf Fortress box be? I'm just remembering like the thief trapezoid and like all of the Looking Glass Studios games being weird as fuck shaped boxes. Actually, yeah, you're right. It would have to be like it would have to be a cabochon. It would have to be like a square cut cabochon. An archway. I think it would have to menace with spikes. Like a square cut cabochon, by the way, is like this. Like this kind of shape. I didn't want you to open that, but okay, there you go. Anyway, it would have to be like that kind of shape. Square cut cabochon. It would have to menace with spikes, and it would have to be a square cut cabochon. You know, I feel like Dwarf Fortress, like, many people know, like, owe all of their knowledge of jewelry to Dwarf Fortress. You're enjoying this bedroom layout? I kind of wanted it to look like a little village underground, and I think it's working. Triumphant? What's the hold on. Well, I mean, by game definition, it would be triumphant, but what is the opposite of menace? Friendly. Auspicious. I mean, that's not very helpful. Friendly spikes. There you go. Well, I mean, like, the old meme with Dwarf Fortress is that if you play enough Dwarf Fortress, eventually you have a minor in geology. Hey! It begins. Chats, we got baby elephants. Look at that. Baby elephant. Baby elephant. Shed single tear. It's so cute. It's a capital E that's red instead of, you know. Hey, there's an own. And great. Elephant has given birth to a elephant calf. Stray elephant has given birth to elephant calves. Excellent. I spent too much time indoors playing video games? Yes. I mean, red letters are very cute. Also, this is one hell of a glass industry we've cooked up. Look at this shit. Like, all of these dwarves running bags back and forth, they're all collecting sand for glass. That's all that they're doing. How does digging under a layer affect the directly above? I mean, it's like Minecraft, right? So you can dig down, you can burrow. But if you drop something heavy on a layer with a hollowed out layer beneath it, it will collapse the layer below. That enough pasture for the elephants? Right now it is. They're not giant elephants. Right now it is. But they're gonna run out pretty quick. I'm gonna need to split them up and make multiple pastures of this size. But currently it's not. But, you know, thing at a time. I'll probably eventually just connect the whole thing together. Split them up, put the younger ones separately. But, in fact, might as well just start doing that now. I was gonna build, like, because I've got this these green glass blocks coming along. I'm gonna start putting roofing over top of this with green glass, but I can't entirely cover it. Otherwise, I'll stop getting sunshine, and I need that, supposedly. You were into minerals as a shit? So what you're saying is you were into pretty rocks. You weren't into minerals. Oops. That's fine. Ugly, but it's fine. Tree down. Yeah, although it's also like Minecraft. You can channel out layers, which makes them behave more like Minecraft layers. Which is what I'm doing over here. Hacking down trees, cutting out this whole layer so we can keep constructing sideways. It's building walls without having to type a billion keys. It's not a billion keys, it's like 4. Well, actually, Shift, B, okay, B, capital C, W, U, well, actually I don't need to hit U. Just K, arrow keys to location. That's not a billion. Significantly less than a billion. I'm reporting you for false information. Blah. Hacking stream, you know it. I am definitely Uber Haxer. More than any other game has ever asked you to build a wall. I would argue I have to hit more keys to search in Songs of Six, but that's me being silly. Although, I'm not going to lie, I am absolutely going to miss hitting these keys. Absolutely. Because it might be a arguably worse system in almost every respect, but muscle memory. It's going to be annoying to unlearn. Less steps in building an actual wall. As somebody who's built an actual wall, hard disagree. Far less steps in building actual walls. Isn't it like an actual year or something? Or it's like a year or longer. I'd need to look it up, but it's not a short period of time. So like a couple hours probably. Could give you an estimate in a little bit if we stare at these ones. Are elephants milkable? If anybody's staring at the elephants wiki, could someone let me know? The Pointy Hall has many members in Stonewater and now requires a guild hall. This location must be built and furnished. The hall, with the hall designated for an engraver guild. Sure, fine. Let's put all the elephant calves over here. All right, guys, we separating you from your mumsies. They're mammals? Yes, but not all mammals in Dwarf Fortress are milkable. I just want to know if I can make elephant cheese. All right, well, I need to go take a restroom break. I'll be back in a moment. Mature in 10? Yeah, that about checks out. All right. Well, because I was standing, that's how much hair I actually have. Anyway. Full size in 5, mature in 10. Yeah, that sounds about right. So they're not milkable? Got it. I won't even try then. That seems like a shame. At least they're war trainable. The funniest concept to me is being able to hunting train an elephant so you can train them to hunt, which is very, very funny to me. Like, I'm just imagining just like an elephant chasing down like a gazelle, like, brrr! Like, I'm just gonna stab you in the head. Come back here, you bastard. Being stuck. Yeah, exactly. I'm just imagining like, okay, how does an elephant hunt a armadillo? Because, or a wombat. How? Those are the steps in hunting? Yep. Stalking and ambushing, and then murdering. Like, how do you... wow. Can't. Also, I just have to shout out the fact that we're at 1,015 Twitch subscribers. That's... I can't process that number, guys. I can't. Can't. I'm actually going to have the budget to buy a graphics card next month. Well, I mean, my favorite fun to think about thingy about Dwarf Fortress is the only difference between a lion and a cow is one has horn, or the only difference between a lion and a bull is a bull has horns equipped and a cow, and a lion has swords equipped on its hands. So if a lion bites you, it's as dangerous as if a bull bites you in Dwarf Fortress. Because they're both the same size animal. They're both a large animal. And one just has swords, the other just has teeth. So there's really no difference between being bit by a lion and being bit by a bear and being bit by a cow. You just don't want to go to fisticuffs with a lion, whereas you could probably go to fisticuffs with a cow and be okay. Because a cow doesn't have any hand weapons, you know? A lion does. Making the lion much more threatening. Can you harvest their sword hands? I don't think the claws come off separately. What the hell's that? Oh, it's a hungry dwarf. It's fine. Also, the most developed animal AI in the game is cats. Which is also kind of funny. Oh no, we're out of cabinets. Goddamn. And the efficiency of all that junk? You mean the inefficiency of all that junk? It's not very efficient. Dwarf Fortress is many things, but it's not very efficient. It's the reason it'll run on anything, but just not run well on anything. My neighbors are arguing really loudly. I should shout louder about Dwarf Fortress things to confuse them. It's the one part about living in a small apartment with close-by neighbors that's a little bit distressing sometimes. It's like, come on. Can you, like, have your family arguments quieter, please? Or, like, close the window first? So happy that winter's coming soon. So that it'll just be cold outside. Don't have to listen to them screaming at each other as much. You do think about practicality over design. It's just the way that you play right now. What, like the way you design your fortresses, or the way you design video games? How did I end up with so many more green glass cabinets than boxes? That's strange to me. Oh, I see, because I've already made them. There's also just weird things, like, in Dwarf Fortress, a door is a door, right? A door made of glass is a portal. For some reason. A wooden box is a coffer. A rock box is a chest. A glass box is a glass box. And a metal box is a chest. For some reason. Not sure why they need that distinction. Instead of just calling them all chests. Trying to think of other, like, random DF eccentricities. Also genuinely surprised that, like, the fire trucks don't show up on my microphone ever. They get really loud in here sometimes. Rock coffer, wooden chest, rock. You like the word chest more than the word coffer? It's because people have heard the word chest. Nobody uses the word coffer. The word coffer is a dated, old word that doesn't get used anymore, ever. Cofferdam? Coffer up a lung. But, like, what if it's holding a dwarf's prized treasures? You might not care about, like, the 45 pairs of pigtail socks that dwarf has, but that dwarf certainly does. We're finally getting to the tail end of them. One man's junk, another man's treader. One man's junk, another man's cheddar. Yes. One man's junk, another man's treasure, and all that.
Cheese for everyone!
Time for cheese runner, then? I'm not quite that tired. Although I will say this, I was planning on playing Zero Sievert as second game tonight, but, like, I have been streaming for 11 hours, so I don't think that's going to happen. Although I don't really have a time restriction for tonight. No, but you gotta wait until 2 minutes to midnight so that you can sing 2 minutes to midnight and be actually on time. It's 2 minutes to midnight. The cows, the unborn. That's the only line from 2 minutes to midnight I can ever remember. But not elephant cheese, yeah, because they don't make that. I've never been so interested in making a brand called elephant cheese for no reason other than to prove this game wrong. This game lets you milk a pig. Why can't you milk an elephant? I feel like milking an elephant would be easier. Not that I know the first thing about milking a cow even, but I feel like milking an elephant would be less challenging than milking a pig. And there we go. That's it for the bedrooms for now. This pattern turned out not terrible. I thought it was going to be pretty terrible initially, but... And I need to make an engraver guild. Well, I don't want to talk about the consistency of pig milk because I might throw up, but I did some research into it and why you don't make cheese out of pig milk. And let's just say it's not thick enough. Anyway, I didn't do this intentionally, but this room's a pig. Not even sure what way cheese is, so I'll just continue being completely oblivious. Sounds like it's better for my mental health. Man, just like Twitch, half of YouTube is broken right now. Weird. Like all the stats are just like error, stats not showing. It's like, yeah, no shit. So are the dwarves going to use lava for rituals? Not officially. But I do want to pump lava back into the volcano for reasons... no reasons other than it would look cool. Are you asking me if I'm going to throw unfortunate individuals into it? Because I hadn't really thought about doing that. I'm not really that kind of person. And these dwarves don't really have a lot of evil gods. They don't really strike me as an evil bunch of dwarves. Maybe if they seemed eviler. Although I could flood the entire fort with lava by simply deconstructing this door. I should block it up better. All right. I super duper accidentally torched a dwarf. I'm gonna put this slab in here. Never did come back as a ghost. You see, like, it depends on the dwarves. If the dwarves worship a bunch of evil gods of death and destruction, then sure, why not? But these dwarves seem pretty wholesome. If you always played the bad guy, doesn't playing the bad guy become kind of boring? Went missing in the year 244. Nah, he definitely caught himself on fire. Lover of statues. Leader of the Scorching Lobster. From 241 to 244. Although I will say your name is Orion D&D, not Evil Chaos Satan 666 D&D. So, I don't know. It's hard to tell if you're going to play games in the favor of chaos or not. You know, so this is just a thing I saw on Twitter for a second, and this is the pinning messages to the top of the stream with money. Can I opt out of this experiment? No. Twitch just, honestly, Twitch just doesn't give a shit anymore, and I kind of respect it. Can you opt out of this experiment? No. I mean, obviously. It's just... Interestingly blatant? Yep. Yep. Can you punish Twitch for experimenting on you? It's probably in the EULA that you agreed. Made 50 more glass boxes, which I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to put those glass boxes in the middle of this table. I feel like most of the people who watch Twitch are too young to know what that even is. Uh-oh, you got a mandate. Quivers. Let's see, how's the elephant enclosure doing? Pretty good, I would say. Your age is not the factor you blame for not knowing things. Fair enough. All right, I'm going to cut down all the trees around the edge of this because we wouldn't want any of these elephants climbing out via the trees. And we're going to place some glass floors around the edge. So I need a water reservoir right here. But I need the water reservoir up here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to here. I'm going to dig all the way over to the water. Okay? When we get to here, we're going to... Didn't actually need to do those, but... We're going to build two... Well, actually, I'm going to build a little hallway. This way. I'm going to connect to up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little set of pumps, right? And then the pumps are going to go all the way up to here, I think. And those are going to go all the way over to here, which are going to dump down into here. Although, let's actually go here. Go upstairs, up downstairs, to here, downstairs. I need power. Whoops. Dwarf withdraws from society. Oh, no. Woodcrafter. Look at that. Jeweler, if I recall. Probably still jeweling. Or chilling somewhere else. Praying. Your profession may have also changed like twice at this point. Honestly, the one... Oh, there you are. Yeah, still a jeweler. You seem to be running bags of sand back and forth. You're satisfied? Satisfied at work, didn't feel anything after being unable to practice craft for too long, didn't feel anything after being unable to practice martial art for too long, felt lonely after being away from family for too long, blissful after sleeping in a fantastic bedroom. Meanwhile, Locum has claimed a craftsdwarf shop. Right now is like the time of day that everybody tunes out of the stream because it's late at night. Do you know, frankly?
Player prop!
Pilot must regrettably withdraw from Little Dwarfs. Lessons on Tuesday and Thursday for the foreseeable future. Really? Oh, Fs? Although, are they like 11-hour long lessons? Also, hey, Balinor, how's things? And this dwarf has begun a mysterious construction. I'm sorry, why is there an Impala in the fortress? There's an Impala in my fort. Oh, they're right before work? Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That is totally fine, though. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's not a tame Impala, no. It's definitely a wild Impala. Got maybe 3 hours of sleep. Ouch. Nope. I hope that you're able to get some sleep soon. Is that a reference to something? That the Impala is there to wreck my kitchen and my living room? Locum the Woodcrafter has created Hovistastillin Edan Shast, a durian wood ring, and claims it as a family heirloom. It's worth 3,600. It's a durian wood ring. All craft worship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of durian wood. This object menaces with spikes of date palm wood. That's such a small artifact. Good lord. Pump from the east. Oh, actually, screw pump. Pump from the east. Green glass block. Enormous that. And pump from the west up here, but panel through those. You say you prefer when the dumb things you say in chat get lost. I mean, that only works in big channels, which doesn't work in my channel, really. And Impala's fighting with dog. So, once again, like I said, not a tame Impala. You know, I don't like it when things get lost in chat, because it just means that I have less people to talk to. Really. So it's nice when things don't get lost in chat, but I do understand why people would be used to that. Because most people are used to things getting lost in chat, because things getting lost in chat just means that, you know, you're used to large channels, big streams. But this isn't a big stream. This is a small stream, you know? More ways than one. You know, maybe if we had a couple hundred people watching, we'd be a big channel, but instead I'm just like, you know, kind of a middle of the road Twitch partner. Nothing big and fancy. Right, so now that's done, let's do the second one, pump from the east. This is the quickest little pump stack I've built in a long time. I wouldn't have needed to build this if I didn't put the whole thing on the wrong layer. Glass floodgate 4. I mean, a good person to have in chat is somebody who doesn't act like an asshole. It's that simple. There really isn't much more to it than that. As long as you're not being a dick, you're a good person to have in chat. Or actively, like, begging for subs or something. Although at this point, it might actually get you gifted one, because people have been so gift happy recently. Got distracted by something for a brief point. Apologies. It's been pretty long. Now you have more work meetings? I mean, today has been long. I can tell you that. It's not just you. The day's just been long. Not much freeways. And yourself? Alright, so might as well just channel that. Give it a second before the dwarves run over. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're glad that I'm still here. Yeah, we're getting back to the normal schedule of long streams. We had some shorter ones because I, needed to recover, but we're getting back there. Still not fully back to my full energy, but we're getting back there. I think by next week shit should be back to normal for me. All right, there goes the water. So the water will show up down there. Now I just need to power these screw pumps. Also need to get some garbage removed from here, so let's dump everything up here. 2 rock grates. But how was uni today? If I can ask, really. Also, for whatever it's worth, Orion, I've been reading that sentence kind of over and over for the past couple minutes. The last one that you said. Read half of the shit that Diamond Destruct says in this channel. And realize no matter how dumb the stuff that you say, you think you say is, at the very least, it's more verbally coherent than the stuff that Diamond says, and Diamond's a good member of this chat. It's almost impossible to sound sillier than he does on an average day. Granted, English isn't his first language, but most people who English isn't their first language, they make like an attempt to sound like they know what they're saying. There are times where I read what Diamond says and just straight up go, what? And he's just like, yeah, that didn't make any sense. Hold on, let me try that again. The device for fighting the communicate must be hate, really. I mean, to be fair, he asked me about something that I said earlier, but just wrote the word sad instead. And said the word said like 4 times in the sentence, but instead every single time he wrote the word said, instead of saying said, he said sad. So it's almost comedy. Like it's amusing. It's silly. I like Diamond though. Diamond's a good person. Diamond just sometimes says some very strange things. Still got a lot of ways to go. I gotta fill this whole thing up with drawbridges. It's 11:30. We'll see you later, audio. Sleep well. See you maybe Monday. If not, we'll see you Tuesday. And thanks for keeping that sub alive for a ridiculously long time. It means a lot. All right, let's see how many dwarves fall into this. Hopefully not many. See what this dwarf does. Dunk, 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 doop, 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 doop. Not bad so far. Nobody's fallen to their death just yet. Okay, whoop, that was close. I haven't seen anybody like even come close to falling to their death yet. I'm very impressed by these dwarves. It's very even more dangerous to stand on the lower floor right now. I mean, I type like an absolute idiot. You should just watch the way I type in some streams at some point. Because I really do type like an idiot. And that's not even like some self-deprecating humor shit. Like, that's just me being honest. That looked like a dwarf almost fell, but nope. All right, so now we just need to place a bunch of retracting bridges. Cover them with schist. Gosh. It's going to use a lot of mechanisms. Going to use a lot of schist? Yes. It's a very schisty setup. Wow, so super chats are not being received well in some other chats you've been in today. Apparently, Twitch suggested somebody drop a $100 super chat on a 2-minute highlight. Oh, that's cool. My favorite feedback about this whole thing was from my friend Tornis, which was this. Screenshotted this because apparently this is on the Twitch blog. Just fucking ignore that shit. It's fine. I honestly, I don't understand the point of the pinning chat stuff. And I really hope we can disable them. Because to me, that just seems like a waste of everybody's time and money. Just at me, I'll see it. I don't need you to pay. It's just like every now and again, somebody will ask me, it's like, do I need to be subbed to get a dwarf? It's like, I don't need you to pay me for basic chat functions. Like, come on. Like, I like making money. That part of this job is great, but like, this comes back to my classic argument about NFTs. Not everything needs to be monetized. Not everything I do needs to be monetized. And that's okay. This is tedious. Welcome to Dwarf Fortress. The way I explained it was Twitch is based on in the United States where speech from people with money is worth more than poor people's speech. Oof. Reminds me of the human cacti pad in South Park. I clearly haven't seen that part of South Park. Although whenever I find out that I haven't seen something in South Park that people reference, it usually turns out that I was better off without. It's usually the case. But yeah, I don't know. The way I explained it was Twitch is trying to save money and make more money, so they're charging for every little thing that they can possibly think of, and that's fine. We as an audience and a viewer base can choose to not use it. Although 2 people already have in my chat for the lulz, and you know what? That's fine too. Gotta pay the bills somehow. Apparently Twitch is expensive to run. Who knew? Weird, right? I don't believe it's as expensive as they claim, but I'm sure it's expensive. Turns out my groceries are getting more expensive too, so. But I don't know. The thing that I'm still sticking to is it's better than the alternative. I'd rather stream on Twitch than Facebook, and I'd rather stream on Twitch than YouTube. So, no matter how dumb Twitch is sometimes, I'd still rather be here. Let's just make 100 rock mechanisms because I'm gonna need them. mean, Twitch, you know, like, and this goes for literally every platform. If there's ways to monetize things and they're optional, just don't use them. Problem solved. Ads aren't optional, so it's up to me whether or not I want to opt in or out of ads. I choose to not show ads because I think it's better for your guys' viewing experience. How goes the volcano fort? Working on the Obsidian printer. Bedroom layer turned out quite nice. We have elephants. The elephants are living up in these squares up here. Got some baby elephants who are apparently going to take 10 years to mature, which is fun. And yeah, been going pretty good. Not bad for one day's work. Although I'm sure I can cut this stream into like 3 YouTube videos. And you don't know what they are? Well, they weren't elk birds or elk. Elk are brown. But yeah, that's fair. Sometimes I see the letters real quick and I don't know what they are. It's like, is that a kitten or a baby capybara? I'll never know. It depends on how impassioned the politics are. Like, I won't ever override my viewers talking about the war in Ukraine because it's usually people who are actively in Ukraine talking about it. So it depends on, like, you know, the subject. And whether or not I find the subject entertaining. Also, not like Twitch stuff really counts as politics. It's more just forehead indenting. But then again, I feel the exact same way about YouTube on a good day, so. Like, no matter what they're doing, it's like, really? Oh. The Fellowship of Jades has many members in Stonewater and now requires a temple complex and a high priest, which just means that the temple now requires more value. Which is still this. Needs to be up to value of 10,000. So, last pedestal. 1. Last altar. 1. Should be able to finish that real quick. Our city council is arguing recently about adding more parking meters to downtown, and I think ... is an example of Autobahn political comment. And I think, I understand. And so what you're saying is, and you think it's a good idea? I can tell you it's not. Spoilers. You're very verbose. This is why streamers like you. Come on. Verboseness is goodness in chat. Just a joke? I mean, just like me. Don't worry. You know what's awesome? I don't have to record a podcast until like 7 p.m. tomorrow. That's not true. 4 p.m. tomorrow. The last few episodes were recorded at like 6 a.m. It was like 5 a.m., 7 a.m., and then like 6 a.m. This one is at 4 p.m. and I'm ecstatic. For those of you who don't know, I have a podcast with my stream team. We talk about indie games and other fun video games. Recommend giving it a listen. It's pretty good, I think. And tomorrow we recorded at 4 p.m. instead of like early in the AM. Summer has arrived on the calendar. Must be Sui, Jess, and Drongo. How'd you guess? Actually, I think it's Sui, Drongo, and Arch. I know it's at least Sui, Arch. Drongo, maybe. Jess, no. Jess has a thing she needs to get done. Hey, Tolas. That's a lot of flapping. Pink sponge and universe enders. Oh yeah, Arch is like, because you forgot about Arch, is that why? How's the dwarves? Well, we started a brand new fortress today, so that's been pretty good. What's Arch's channel? There you go. Yay, I spelled it right. It's one of those ones where it's like, man, did I spell it right? He'll play Dwarf Fortress when it releases. Right now, he's very much a kind of Stardew life sim person. But my descriptions of Dwarf Fortress make him very excited. Here comes my green glass altar. And that, which is going to get that armadillo bone buckler, wild boar leather buckler, jagged armadillo leather helm, and that durian wood ring. All of my artifacts. Oh no. Apparently audio has to go to prison due to violating a production order. Whoops. Also, did I ever? No, I never did. Armor, stand, rock, 2. Web, rock, 2. You're off to bed. You have a good night, Tay. Human caravan has arrived. Okay, cool. Recognize High Priest. So apparently, a Sunday is now a holy treasure. So the named dwarves that have the ability to be recognized as a new holy pearl are Tygo, Acre, a Sunday, Spooky, Animal, Orion, Soulshinery, Mistrunner, Air, or Audio. I think I'm going to give it to Audio. The holy pearl of this religion of wealth. Yeah, I know. Unrelated. I mean, I generally don't associate with awful people. That's usually how that goes. Generally, he says. I've accidentally associated with awful people in the past, but usually when I realize they're awful people, I cease to associate with them. Humans here to trade. Just ask for cheese.
Cheese for everyone!
Yeah, unfortunately, there are many people in the world that share similar names. No elephant cheese, nope. No cheese of elephant. That is not an option. I don't know why I've played this fort so long. Like, I've been streaming for almost 12 hours, and about 10 and a half of that has been Dwarf Fort. Also, apparently I've kind of got like an army of dogs growing. I have to start slaughtering those. What are you doing? Oh, you're gathering plants, right? Bark, 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 bark. It's probably a whole lot of barking too. Bark, 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 bark. Let's just buy some of this crap. Fortunately, glass is an infinite resource, so I can just, you know, buy all of their stuff, more or less. As well as all of the cheese. All right. Too cute, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, until they do. Still working on all this crap. Sand detector, please. You know, I still can't get over the fact that bay means poop in 2 separate languages. So, thanks Twitch chat for informing me of this. Oh, also, I don't know if you even noticed, Clino, but one of the greatest things that's ever happened has happened. Somebody else posted one of my videos on Reddit. I uploaded a short of me explaining how a ghost reported their own murder, And somebody random who I don't know posted that. Clip on Reddit for me. Without me doing anything. Normally I have to ask other people to post stuff for me. So it's real nice when I don't have to do that, frankly. It's kind of a small miracle. Gotta say. 'Cause that's how you know you're actually getting big, is when other people post shit on Reddit for you. Alright, let's start making levers. This is gonna be called Obsidian Whoosh. It's gonna be a lot of bridges to connect that to. Nope, I didn't post it. Somebody else did. I never post shorts or clips or anything to Reddit. The only things I post are the occasional link to a stream and the DF News updates that Kit Fox posts that I make videos on. So I make posts about those videos. That's it. Much to ClinODev's dismay. ClinODev would like me to make posts about everything I do. But I don't like to spam, so I won't. And honestly, I feel like most of the time I'm spamming, so I already feel like I post on the subreddit too much. Just because, like, I've been banned from other subreddits for, like, commenting on the fact that I made a thing. That, honestly, is the most mind-numbing self-promotion ban I've ever gotten. Was on the PC Games subreddit. I posted a guy who uploaded the video here and answered a question about a video that was posted. And then I got banned. It does look neat, yeah, Tolas. I watched a friend learn from his girlfriend that a kiss meant anus in her native language. Okay. Making give me a kiss a whole different thing. I mean, I don't see a problem here, but I could see why that would be funny. What language, if I can ask? Just for clarity's sake. Alrighty, dwarves, come on. Get those bridges done. Gonna take a lot of mechanisms. This dwarf isn't very efficient either. Spooky appears to be the one doing the linking job. Well, cheers. Trying to figure out how to say your name. It's like Hurry JKSN. It kind of feels like you just kind of slapped your keyboard and that's your username. It's hard to, like, decipher. But hello. And thanks for catching the stream. Yeah, I'm often on this late, but I'm not usually still streaming Dwarf Fortress this late. Oh, interesting. Language that most corresponds to classical Mayan temple builders. Huh. Well, interesting. Fortunately, that's not one you'll run into very often then. But yeah, this is a brand new fortress that I started earlier today. Just starting to wind down, though. Although I'm trying to decide if I just want to jump into just chatting and listen to some music for a bit, or if I want to play Cheese Runner. I'm kind of leaning towards just chatting at this point, because I have been streaming for so long. Today's been a solid getting close to 11 hours of Dwarf Fortress. Well, in Guatemala. So Guatemala is like smaller than my city. So actually, what is the population of Guatemala? Well, okay, landmass wise it is smaller. But population-wise, it's not. Still not something I'd run into very frequently. Yeah, I mean, it's half the population of Canada. Just under half the population of Canada. I thought they were closer to like 5 million, but my numbers are several decades off. But landmass-wise, it's smaller than, like, from here to the next nearest city, so. But still, very unlikely that I would ever run into that language. The world is huge. And all right, chat. So I think we've made some ridiculous progress today. I mean, probably going to cover a good few YouTube VODs, but bedrooms, temple and tavern, glass forge, main storage, trading, outdoor area, main entry hall, crafting zone, lower area for lava, and the spot where they run the sand back and forth. Also, ran out of glass things again to make. Let's make another 1,000 glass blocks, I suppose. Anyway, then down here, the soon-to-be water fixture, we're going to need to hook this up to power. I'm assuming we'll have another flow of water underground, probably going through this layer all the way across. That's going to be powering water wheels. Down here is where the obsidian is going to form. And then it goes all the way down to the first cavern layer, which I kind of stopped at when I got to it because didn't need it, turns out. Not bad progress for one stream. I've done better in the past, but we'll be making more stuff in this fort for quite some time. This is a very large map, once again, on a volcano, so, you know, it's gonna be a fun one. Probably continue this fort on Tuesday, because I am still pretty hot on it. Volcano goes all the way up to here. Some long-term plans for this volcano is I want to make a lava waterfall flowing into the volcano, so there will be lots of power that needs to be done. I want to make a lava moat, preferably a large one. And I want to build a lot of stuff out of Obsidian. So it's going to be a fun time, I would think. Going to be a fun time. But I think I'm going to save the game now. And I'm just going to do my normal evening routine, which I haven't done in a bit, which is we're going to jump over to just chatting and listen to some music and then chill for a little bit. Because I've been live for 12 hours. It's been a long one. Longest stream of the week, which is good. So I'm going to go get my pasta because I've got a big bowl of pasta that I got to heat up. And then we're going to hang